Hi guys, so today I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be making my ultimate cornbread stuffing. So I'm starting off with 4 slices of bacon. It is 4 slices, I just, cut it in half. So I'm just gonna, cut it down into bite-sized pieces. Just gonna add the bacon to the pan. I had the pan over medium heat. Now I showed you guys in my last video on making my cornbread. So I did leave mine out. You want your bread to be very stale when you cook your cornbread. So I'm making a mixture of cornbread and Italian bread. Just cut it up and I think I should use a bread knife. Cut it up into square pieces. Now I see people when they use stale bread and they crumple their bread up. I don't like it like that. I think it's just disgusting. I don't know who wants to eat crumbled up bread when they eat stuffing. I think that's just gross. So I like to cut mine up into, square pieces. We'll do all this while the bacon is cooking. So now you're gonna transfer it over to a baking sheet. We don't have a baking sheet. So we're just adding, tinfoil over a pan. So the reason why I'm using bacon, I'm really only using the bacon because you get the bacon fat, because the bacon fat is what really helps give a lot of flavor to this cornbread stuffing, especially for the holiday seasons. I want to eat as unhealthy as you can. All right, moving on to the cornbread. So go ahead and just cut it down in the middle. You can use the whole cornbread or half the cornbread, as much as cornbread as you want. I think I might. Let's see how much one side is and see how much that is. I might use both because, cornbread stuffing. Obviously, you want to use all the cornbread. And hot butter this pan. Apparently, it's stuck to the pan. I lied. I didn't leave this out for 3 days or whatever. I actually just made this. I just changed my shirt, pretending it's a new day. This is cornbread. Yeah, that's such a feel. Oh my god. Because this is what happens when you lie. I didn't leave it out. I literally just finished cooking it. But you get the point. I didn't even get to taste it yet. Because when it's not stale enough, you get crumbly pieces like this. So I'm just gonna cut it up as much as I can. And the reason why I'm actually using Italian bread, if you guys are wondering, it helps keep the bread together and stuff for the stuffing. So cornbread stuffing always is crumbly like this. It's nearly impossible to have a perfect cornbread stuffing. Yo guys, I learned a trick. It's actually easier to cut cornbread if it's upside down. I would have never guessed. And now I have an oven heated up to 300 degrees. You're gonna stick it in the oven for, probably say 15 minutes to have it all stale up and get hard. And once I cut up the bread, the bacon is done just in time. I'm gonna scoop up the bacon. You're gonna try to leave as much of the bacon fat there is. That's good enough. Okay, so add the bacon, keep the heat on, put it on a medium. You're gonna take some butter. You want something to be a little bit buttery, and especially we're using this to saute the vegetables anyway, so I wanna add a generous amount of butter. The butter is what's gonna give the stuffing some really great flavor. You're gonna let that melt in with the bacon fat. We're gonna get over here and cut up the onions and the vegetables and stuff. Gonna cut up an onion. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's gonna melt in with the stuffing anyways, because I like my stuffing to have pieces of onions in it. And add it to the pan. I'm gonna stir it, and onions do take a little bit longer to cook than the rest of the vegetables, so. Then go ahead and cut up some celery. We're gonna You know, I don't know how people cook and they keep everything so clean. I'm like the whole opposite. I don't know how to keep it so clean. Go ahead and mix all this together and let that cook down. The onions and the celery does take longer than the others, so while this is cooking, you can cut up all the rest of the vegetables. I like a lot of herbs in mine, so I am using rosemary. You don't need to like, yeah, especially with the thyme. I use rosemary, thyme, and sage. These are like very important when it comes to making stuffing. So sage, you definitely want to cut the sage up. I'm using fresh, but you guys can definitely use dry if you guys like. I like the fresh one just because, just honestly for me, it just tastes better. So you just, you know, cut up sage. Doesn't have to be perfect. Add that in. And we're gonna be adding some rosemary too. With the rosemary, I don't even know how to use this, to be honest. This is my first time using rosemary. I'm not sure if you're supposed to cut it up. I know with thyme though, with thyme, you literally just throw in the leaves and the thyme will fall off the leaves. I like a lot of thyme in mine, so I'm use a good, use about like 2 or 3 sticks. I use good 1, 2, 3, 5 sticks of thyme. The thyme will fall off the branches, so you can just cook it in. I think the same with rosemary too. Let's just add all the flavor. It doesn't really matter. Let that cook in with each other. I am gonna add parsley, but I'm gonna add it like, you know, when it's almost done, because I don't want it to be too cooked. This is Italian parsley, by the way. Look, I have another rosemary. Just add that in there too. For the garlic, you don't need to add too much because you don't want the garlic to overpower. So I'm gonna add like 3 cloves of garlic because stuffing is more of a like onion taste, onion type of meal. So you don't want too much garlic to, you know. So. I'm gonna add a little bit of cayenne pepper too. This is about a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I'm not gonna add too much because I don't want it to be too crazy, but you can go ahead and add some salt and pepper. I'm gonna add about, say, 4 tablespoons of pepper. More like 5, maybe 6. And then some salt, as usual. I would say about 3 tablespoons of salt. If you notice, when you eat stuffing for Thanksgiving, there's a lot of black pepper in stuffing. See, everything's cooking well with each other. You're just gonna just let that sit. While that sits, I'm gonna work on the cornbread. 2 eggs. The eggs are optional, but eggs is what is gonna help bind the stuffing so it stays together and it doesn't like, you know, fall apart. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna add 3 eggs instead. 3 eggs. Get yourself a fork and you wanna whisk it together. Now you wanna go over to heat. You wanna turn down the heat. You wanna add the vegetables last because you don't want the vegetables to cook the eggs, because the eggs are supposed to cook in the oven. When you cook thyme, it just falls off the stick. Well, not really. Majority of it. Chicken stock. You're gonna add half the chicken stock. Half the chicken stock. I'm using 2 cups, and you want it to be like kind of cold or room temperature because you don't want the eggs to cook. Now I took the bread out of the oven. You know it's a little bit more stale. It's okay if it's not. If that's a big deal, then you can definitely, you know, leave the bread out for a couple days and do it that way. But, you know, I'm kind of in a rush and I didn't want to, you know, be doing all that. But now I already explained why I'm mixing the white bread, white Italian bread, and the cornbread together is because the cornbread, just no matter how much you steal it, it's always going to end up being crumbs anyways. It's always going to be some type of crumbs, which I don't like it always being crumbs. I like it to be like something like this, you know, solid pieces, but you know, we can't have everything. You're gonna like toss it like a salad. Okay, and then see how it's a little bit dry? Go ahead and add a little bit more of that chicken stock over here. So I actually made my own chicken stock because when I went to the store, I forgot to pick some up. So I had to, you know. Making your own chicken stock is pretty easy. It's just chicken and water. Boil some water, put the chicken in. I added like a couple of celery sticks, maybe some carrots, salt, pepper, or whatever. It's pretty easy. So you don't want it to be like too wet, but you don't want it to be too dry either. So you want to add all the vegetables with all the juices and everything. You want to add everything in there. This is what's going to give it so much more flavor. And then you can go ahead and add your bacon that we cooked, because you know you don't want to waste the bacon. You cooked it for a reason. But then you see this parsley. I didn't cook the parsley. I'm adding the parsley raw into this. Early Thanksgiving. Okay. See, once you're mixing, you can just like, if you see stems that are loose, you can just take them out. Like this one's a little bit loose. I can take it out. And go ahead and get your pan. I'm gonna find some room for this. Bake it on 400 degrees for about, I would say, 30 minutes, maybe to an hour, depending on how, you know, well cooked you want your stuffing to be. So obviously, the longer you leave the stuffing in, the more crispy the top's gonna be. So this on your preference. Go ahead and even it out. Honestly, I think it needs more salt, to be honest. And I'm gonna add some of the chicken stock on top. You wanna add it on around the edges. So the reason why I do that is because I don't want it, you know, put it in the middle, it's gonna be too soggy. And then, I don't know any human being that does this, but I do it because it adds a little bit of creamy taste. So I'm adding like a spoonful of milk. I've seen some people add like cream of mushroom or cream of chicken into their stuffing. I just add milk because, I don't know, it's just too much work. It just gives it some creaminess to it. Just like 2 scoops or 2 spoons or whatever. Top this off with some more salt. And some pepper. Whatever. You guys get the point. Put it in the oven for about 30 minutes at 400 degrees. Guys, I just took this out. Look how amazing it looks. This is my cornbread stuffing. Cornbread is herby with the thyme and the rosemary. And now how I talked about the leaves, you can take them out now. You can take out all the branches. I cooked my branches in there, but all the flavor, oh my goodness, it's so good. The top is so crispy and the inside is so moist. That's what I was looking for. That's why I added that milk in there to get it all moist. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. It's really good. This is actually really good. This is pretty good for stuffing.